I've been having trouble sleeping, and naturally, as I lay here dying, I think about times of the past. And specifically, this time of the past turns out to be the time I tried making a Yu-Gi-Oh friend. Now, I guess I'll start with the deck I played at the time. And now, mind you, this deck that I built was built when the time when Link monsters were relatively new-ish. And there weren't that many. In fact, the nightmares being introduced were like the first, I think, the first generic Link monsters that had pretty decent effects. Like pretty much any deck that could fit in these monsters, like Nightmare Cerberus or Phoenix, for taking out either a monster that was special summoned or a spell trap, or a unicorn that, even though it did target, it still bounced it into the deck, and that got around a lot of different types of, destruction protection. And, oh man, what a time to be alive. And it wasn't until this fella here, in a structure deck no less, Trigate Wizard. And this actually is what drove me to build what I've now since then dubbed the Linkspam deck. Namely because, again, these guys were generic, right? All the nightmares were generic. They had pretty good effects. Especially this guy, who's, like, still banned. Nightmare Goblin. Good old Nightmare Goblin. And so anyways, as I was sitting here, I tried rebuilding this deck, and I'm almost certain this is verbatim the exact deck I played. Now, I'm almost certain I actually played 2 Ronin Totem, and, let me just put this back on default. And I'm pretty sure I did, in fact, play 2 Ronin Totem. But there's also cards like, I'm almost certain, like I had 2 Ronin Totem and maybe only 2 Solemn Strike. Who knows? But I'm also certain, like, a Pot of Avarice would do really well in this deck. But I'm pretty certain that back then it was banned. Or cards like World Legacy Succession. I didn't technically have it, I don't think. Just like I put in Nightmare Griffin originally, but I'm not entirely sure if I owned Griffin. Like, I'm pretty certain that I did in fact have 2 Link Spiders, though, in the event that I opened with 2 balls. So I could summon 1 ball, and then turn into a Link Spider, use Link Spider to summon another ball, and then turn that into Link Spider, and then that would give me an effect monster that I could use to go into Nightmare Phoenix, or not Nightmare Phoenix, if I needed to go into Underclock Taker. Just a long roundabout way. But anyways, so this Yu-Gi-Oh friend of mine, we met, and our friendship started on actually 2 different reasons. And the first primary reason was smoking weed. So, he'd come over and hang out with me, or I'd go over there and hang out with him. I mean, and this guy was a family man, right? He had his girlfriend / fiance / wife or whatever. And then also, I guess they had kids. Maybe they were all his, maybe they weren't. Who knows? Who cares? Good for him either way. But either way, he was more so trying to, like, just play Yu-Gi-Oh! Casually. He was playing, like, Duel Links. We tried dueling once, but I didn't realize you had to basically both challenge each other or whatever. And so I thought, hey, well, I've got a bunch of extra decks. We'll let him play, and I thought I should get him his own deck. And this is around the time that the zombie deck, there was a zombie deck that also came out, and specifically it was called Zombie Horde. Now, I'll be honest, I don't specifically remember if this is the exact build. Okay, I've basically just tried doing it from memory. Like I'm certain I had to have played 3 Baylor Drox, the 3 Searcher for the field spell, which I'm almost certain I only played 2 of, bury from a different dimension so you could put your Mizukis back and just keep monstery boring your zombies out. Needlebug nest so you could dump in cards, hopefully hit more Mizukis. I mean, stuff like that, right? Anti-spell fragrance. I don't think I played Share Ride in the deck for them. And so anyways, I went out, I bought 3 structure decks. I built, I'm certain this, put it in sleeves and everything. I mean, the whole 9. Like, bro, here's your very own deck. And you know what I did also? I made the absolute bonehead dumbass mistake of giving him all the extra cards. Because I'm not going to use them. And I figured, hey, it's a zombie deck. There's zombie cards. Maybe he'll, as he goes on and learns, he'll figure out what cards to take out. And oh God, it's so fucking hard to say this without pure disrespect. But this fucking guy goes, without even playing a single fucking game with me, with a goddamn deck that I built for him, okay? Not even fucking that. He goes and starts changing out all the cards. So by the time we actually do start playing, he threw down something like, oh God, I can't even remember. It's probably like Gozuki or something. And I was like, oh, if you gotta send this target. This is a really good target you can send with it. And then he goes to the deck. He's like, oh, I don't have that card. And I'm just like, actually fucking bewildered. Genuinely gobsmacked. My gobs are smacked so hard, okay? What do you mean you don't have that target? And I looked through his deck, and there's so many stupid goddamn cards. It made no fucking sense. It was infuriating, okay? I put all that goddamn time and effort and money, and I put it into the goddamn deck. And again, I made the mistake of giving it all the cards to him. It should have just been the deck. Just the deck by itself. And then be like, yeah, whenever you want to play him. Play him a few games. Get him used to it. And then be like, yeah, well, here's some other cards. Maybe, work it out to how you see fit. God, it so fucking pisses me off just thinking about it now. Oh, there was another thing. He thinks I hated his wife or girlfriend or fucking whatever. And, no. If anything, I genuinely just didn't care. 110% indifferent to you, your kids, and all the other shit. I 110% just wanted someone to play Yu-Gi-Oh! With. Actual, physical, real cards Yu-Gi-Oh! Oh, God. Well, anyways, so this is the deck I built, and this is the whole reason I wanted to talk about this. I just thought it's part of the story time, I reckon. So this is the deck I built, and again, it was built off the premise that Tri-Gate Wizard could have 3 monsters pointing at him, and he would have a once per turn to banish a target, and also once per turn, as a quick effect, you could negate the activation of a card or effect, any card or effect, and then also banish that card. Just absolutely stupidly overpowered. And it was so funny, because when I first got the card, I was like, oh God, this is shit. Like, how are you supposed to even get monsters out for this? And then again, the Nightmare monsters exist now, so it's like, oh, okay. So you get Nightmare Phoenix pointing to the right, and you point him on the left of Tri-Gate Wizard. And then you put Cerberus on the right of him, pointing left. And then they're co-linked. And then you can put Nightmare Unicorn on top. And this would be like the most basic bitch formation, right? So but as of right there, Nightmare Unicorn makes it so that hang on, let me say it this way. Tri-Gate Wizard's in the middle. He can banish a card, and he can negate it. They're not destroyed by battle. They're not destroyed by card effect. And every turn, you're drawing 3 cards. Now, if you wanted to go the full way, which I did not own Nightmare Griffin at this time, I'm almost certain. And I also did not own Nightmare Mermaid, who I'm also pretty sure was banned by then. Well, anyway. So, you can also throw in Nightmare Goblin, and you'll go draw 4 cards. every turn, and also your monsters can't be targeted, which is just insane. But the number one important thing and honestly, the not targeting thing is something I would forget about sometimes. Because the only thing I cared about was getting that additional normal summon. And here's another thing. Like, I'll just read this. If it's link summon during your turn, first of all, I just want to say, when was I ever going to link summon it during my opponent's turn? 1, 2. Oh, now I can see that happening, because that's all I do is synchro summon yummies during my opponent's turn. You can discard one card. If this card was co-linked when the effect was activated, you can draw one card. And then also, during your main phase this turn, you can normal summon one monster from your hand to your zone this card points to, in addition to your normal summon set. By the way, that's not an effect you can gain if you've already used an effect like Gem Knight, Seraphinite. So anyways, my god, what kind of starters weren't there? Brilliant Fusion into Gem Knight, Seraphinite, which gives you an additional normal summon plus a body on the field to make link plays with. And that's a nice trick I learned from Doug DZ himself. Let's see. And then you'd also have Gem Knight Garnet, who is the namesake of Garnets, of why you never want to draw it, because it has to be in your deck for Brilliant Fusion to resolve. And this is also, you know, I thought I was so clever and so smart playing 2 Potted Desires and 2 Necroface. So basically, as a last-ditch effort, you banish 10 cards from the top of your deck, face down, so you can draw 2 cards. You can only activate that once per turn, so I played 2, because drawing into Desires off your Desires is the absolute worst feeling in the world. Okay? So, now, Necroface puts all those banished cards back. And that's just like the workaround. It's supposed to alleviate the downside. But not only that, it also puts back a lot of things, like Sea Archiver, all your frogs, so you can keep using Ronin Totem. Although I guess it also technically, unfortunately, sends Ronin Totem back. He's probably, well, I don't know, maybe he's probably still in the graveyard. But you still have to get all the frogs back out into the graveyard, I guess, is the point. So anyways, what is it? Brilliant Fusion, you send Gem Knight, Garnet, and Trick Clown, and then you get Seraphinite out, so you get an additional normal summon, and also you get Trick Clown back. So right off the bat, that's 2 bodies for 1 spell card. And in addition to that, you also get the additional normal summon, okay? Scapegoat, I distinctly remember playing Scapegoat, because I would put it, like, if I was going first and I had it, I would put it down. Hopefully somehow it doesn't get destroyed. And then you can go into, like, if you Link Karibo or Link Spider. I also ran a Lanfarincus, like, unironically, just so I can turn 2 of them tokens into Lanfarincus. Let's see, what else? Oh, right, the Nightmares. So they all have this thing where when they're link summoned, does this say when it's link summoned during your turn? No, that's so weird. Anyways, when they're link summoned, you discard a card to do the thing. This Phoenix destroys spell traps. Cerberus destroys special summon monsters. Nightmare Unicorn just spins it back into the deck. And the important combo piece of all this was that they would be co-linked. Basically, a Link Karibo that points down back up at a Nightmare Phoenix who's pointing up at it, right? So, like, you'd go into Link Karibo or Link Spider, use any 2 monsters, depending on how, if you were going, I actually like to go second with this deck, because back then you didn't have, breaking boards was a little easier, I reckon. And you have to also understand, this is genuinely before, what's it called? Nibiru existed. Like, there was just a fine little moment in time where things like Goblin was legal, Totally Awesome was still legal, Ronin Totem was still legal, Brilliant Fusion was at 3, and also Nibiru didn't exist. And I don't remember Ash existing much either, but I mean, my God, how long have I been alive and done fucking drugs? Anyways, so there's these. They would all do that. And you would draw a card. So basically, the idea is like, oh, I summon Nightmare Phoenix. Maybe I had 2 brilliant fusions and I already resolved one, right? Summon Nightmare Phoenix, discard the second brilliant fusion, and because it's co-linked, you draw into a new card. Or maybe you discard something like Glow Up Bulb, so then not only do you discard Glow Up Bulb and then draw into a new card, but then now Glow Up Bulb's in the graveyard, so you can bring them back. Or Dot Scapers, who for the longest time I always called them Dot Scraper. I don't know why. And so Dot Scaper, he'd come back, and this is a twofold thing, where on a future turn, after you get him out of the graveyard, and you hard draw into the Rock Spirit, total skill. Then, when you banish Dot Scaper for summoning Rock Spirit, Dot Scaper comes back as well. And that's an immediate new Link to Cyber Nightmare monster. Lady Debug to summon him out. Good old Agent of Creation Venus, or as I like to call her, the Ball Lover. Right? She summons all of her balls out on the field. And this is another part where a Pot of Avarice would just be broken. But then also they're only normal monsters, and also, they kind of have the same name. Because they're all Mystical Shine Ball. The one copy of Link Slayer, and the off chance that I draw them open with them in the first hand, so that I can get a free body on board. Oh my gosh, so many memories of playing this deck. I actually used this deck against Doug DZZeef himself in one of his streams, and I actually managed to beat him. He was like I got the whole combo off of Unicorn with Phoenix and Cerberus and Trigate in the middle. He's like, oh man, this board, because I went back and listened to it afterwards, because you have to pause it, because you can't be fucking cheating. And I go back and he's like, oh my god, this board is it's got a built-in negate, and next turn he's gonna draw 1,000,000 cards. Oh, it was great. Oh, I felt so happy and proud. Oh my god, I did this. I built this deck that did that. So, there's a frog package too. And this turns out Sea Archiver, believe it or not, is a water attribute. So you can actually pitch it for Swap Frog. And you want these things in the graveyard, because then, let's say you have Link Karibo in the extra monster zone. You pitch Sea Archiver for Swap Frog, and then Swap Frog hits the main monster zone underneath Link Karibo, which then triggers Sea Archiver. And it's just, it's so good. There's so much synergy here. It's just all of a crapshoot of what you draw, because God knows you can absolutely get a terrible hand and go nowhere with it. Double Dupe Frog. This is just, if you go through the Totally Awesome play, that's the one you want to summon. And that makes for a really good opener, by the way. Maybe do a Link Karibo, and then also Toad. And then during your opponent's standby phase, you can summon Dupe Frog, so that Totally Awesome and Link Karibo are protected. Oh my god. And for some reason it's something about playing 2 Twin Twisters, right? Twin Twisters is just the good go-to one, I guess. I don't know. Backup Secretary. Now, okay, so look, I did play 3 Lady Debug, because I'm pretty sure let me see, I want to say this, definitely this, I think. I think that's it. I'm pretty sure that's what came in the structure deck that Trigate Wizard came in. But again, long time, drugs, etc. And then one combo I definitely remember, always remembering, is going from Nightmare Unicorn into Topological Bomber Dragon, so long as I had Cerberus attached. Because as long as you do that, no matter how many times you nuke the board, both Topological Bomber and Cerberus will stay. Plus, if you go through the trouble of adding any more Nightmare monsters onto it, because you can just Monster Reborn them. And the best Monster Reborn card in the game, especially for this disgusting Linkspam deck, right? You go through a bunch of your low-level ones, and basically end on, like, just Nightmare Unicorn, right? And then you soul charge them all back. And then you connect them. And then it's great, because you go on to draw like 1,000,000 cards. Oh my god. Oh, and 3 Solemn Strike. I mean, what else? I mean, my only point of interaction was Trigate Wizard, and everything else is just pure protection. Like, oh, you better have a big attack monster so you can actually do damage, because you're not going to break my board by destroying them in battle. And there's like Underclock Taker. I mean, that's just so, like I said, maybe you get 2 balls. Maybe you're using 2 Scapegoat tokens into 2 Link Spiders so you can have Underclock Taker. No, why'd you do that? Because you already had Link Spider to point down. Although I will say Underclock Taker really does come in clutch sometimes, right? Because you could target a monster it points to, and a monster your opponent controls, and then make it lose that much attack. I mean, that's just good manners. Like I said, it's been a while since I've had this, or played this, and, or looked through it, and I certainly don't even own the cards anymore. Man, like I said, I cannot sleep. So I have been thinking about that moment in my time, in my life, when I actually went out and built a physical Yu-Gi-Oh deck, like, for competitiveness. I didn't go anywhere and I didn't do anything. I didn't really play anyone. I played people, but, like, I don't know. It was mostly online. And then really fun. Just the joy of having physical cards. And for the first time, having the physical cards match the digital card deck that I had. I mean, it was an Edo Pro. It, like, does not matter. Well, excuse me. Back then, they called it YGO Pro. But yeah. Man, what a deck. What a time to be alive. Playing 2 Pot of Desires and 2 Necroface. Oh, God. Anyways. I just thought I'd talk about this. For whatever reason. And I guess in case you're curious. I think I really talked about this already. I mean, the Necroworld Banshee for your zombie world. Needlebug Nest to dump zombies in. Mizuki for Monster Reborn. Doom King Baylor Drock, because, if I'm not mistaken, yeah, once per chain. You can apply one of these effects, but you cannot apply the same effect of Doom King Baylor Drock again this turn. Yeah, I'm pretty sure. I'm almost certain there was a good reason to play more than one. But again, I have no clue. Also, not to mention, I'm pretty sure the 1-for-1 was just an extra 1-for-1 card I had lying around, because it certainly didn't come with the deck. And it was, like, also really, really cool to see Red Eye's Zombie Dragon get retrained as a Synchro Monster, which, if I'm not mistaken, there's already a new one. But yeah, oh my gosh, so much nostalgia. I'm even more impressed with myself that I was able to build this deck entirely from memory. And it took a while too. You know, I'd build some of it, do a test hand or two, be like, what's missing? What card do I remember playing? Like I put Harpy's Feather Duster and a Raigeki in there at first, only to come back and realize, like, no, I don't think I own those cards back then. Oh, man. This is so much nostalgia. I'm sorry. And I only vaguely remember if Backup Secretary was in there. Probably so, because she's a search target off of Lady Debug. That, and also, I mean, come on, if you hard draw it to her, like just start off with her in your hand, I mean, that's easy link material. Although you do have to be careful, because at some point you'll run out of, if you're not careful, I mean, you'll run out of cards for discard fodder. But again, that was like the whole point of keeping them co-linked and making sure you didn't summon a discard unless you knew it would be co-linked when you did it. Because then otherwise, you know, you're not being able to cycle through the cards in your hand. Like I said, maybe you open up 2 Brilliant Fusion. You only need to resolve 1, and you only can resolve 1. But yeah. Oh, man. I don't think I know what else to say about this. I just can't sleep. Alright, well, that's it. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I can't imagine why you would. And, yeah, Jesus loves you, and I love you too. I love this deck.